TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope, and the new Nigeria is certainly possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, once again, we're here to have discussion on what is happening in Nigeria. And the breaking news is just what is everywhere. I'm not talking about the issue of Chief Njuri Aguleri or whatever his name is. We are talking about the arrest of Joe Ajaero, the NLC's president, who was picked up by the DSS this morning. The operatives of the Department of State Services have arrested the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero. The arrest was carried out at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja this morning. According to reports coming in from Abuja, Ajaero was about to board a flight to the United Kingdom for an official assignment when he was picked up by the DSS personnel. The reason behind his arrest are still unclear at this very time, but sources revealed that he had been handed over to the National Intelligence Agency, NIA. The reason behind the arrest is still unclear, and that is what is coming. But recall that Ajaero was scheduled to attend the conference of the Trade Union Congress, that is TUC's meeting in the UK, which is slated to be held today. And of course, they ambushed him at the airport and picked him up. Is that what we are to be having in Nigeria today? Is Joe Ajaero now the subject of terrorism in Nigeria? As you know, several accusations, several allegations of terrorism against him, and of course, the UK man who had been termed a fugitive, but obviously has been speaking to different media platforms like Channel and Arise TV in Nigeria, but we have not heard from the DSS. So the question is the arrest of Chief Joe Ajaero, the NLC president, going to help reduce the inflation, going to help the starvation, going to help the hardship that has hit Nigerians so bad? With me to have this discussion is Mr. Bassi, joining me virtually to have very solid, quiet, and intensive discussion on this issue. And of course, we have others on Zoom joining us. Mr. Kini, welcome to the Obidient Family TV. Now, let's get on point of this. We are in a situation of hopelessness in Nigeria. Right now, we see for PMS prices going up as high as 1,300 naira. In filling stations, we see Nigerians starving. We see people falling off the street. And yet, the federal government, led by Chief Bola Tinubu, is bent on prosecuting, on punishing Nigerians. Do you think that this very action of his, of this morning, arresting the NLC President Joe Ajaero, won't it strike you as like a hit for a nationwide shutdown? Like always, the NLC always want to shut down the economy. Don't you think that this is like a prerequisite for a shutdown of this economy?
Good day, Mr. Kanu. Thank you for having me. And good day, Obidient and listeners across the world, wherever you are. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join my voice and speak on some of these critical, topical issues. The issue of Ajaero's arrest is really, really surprising to me. And it clearly shows that this government really don't even know what they are doing. This is a misplaced priority. Why am I saying so? At a time when Nigerians are battling with high cost of fuel, high cost of living, starvation, you don't do this, take this kind of decision. And I keep asking myself, do this government really know how people who advise them? Security-wise, this is not the right step to take, because you know this is going to trigger a lot of reaction from the labor union, because You promised them a minimum wage. Up till now, that has not come into effect. There is already an issue that is concerning the removal of subsidy, which have triggered the cost of the price of fuel high. You are going now to arrest the man. This is not the right step to take. And I wonder how someone will now want to set his house on fire. If you call yourself the owner of the house, why would you want to set your house on fire based on your actions and inaction? Some of the action this government is taking, it shows that they don't have human empathy. They are not concerned about what happened to Nigeria. It shows high level of insensitivity at this point in time, when you should be looking for how to ameliorate the sufferings of the Nigerians who are going through this high cost of living, high inflationary rate, and you are not doing that. You are not working towards that aspect, and you are going out to arrest Joe Ajaero. Hence, you want to set the country on fire, because the response that is going, this is going to trigger up from the labor union. It will not come up well. It won't augur well with the nation, because you know how the labor union reacts sometimes. They don't even look at things objectively in most cases. Hence, you have touched their leader. It means that you are also drawing a battle line. So I would advise the government, for the interest and the sake of peace in this country, Ajaero should be released immediately, and let him go about his normal duty, go about his official engagement. And let us stop this rascality, this impunity that is going on in the country. The government should be concerned how they can tackle the effect of petroleum subsidy they have removed, which have triggered the cost of fuel to as much as high as 1,300, 1,400 in some places. People are buying high cost of fuel. Even the fuel is not even available. That is even the funniest part of it. You can't get fuel, and yet
let me just step in here. Sorry to cut you off. You know, about 2 weeks ago, that the same Joe Ajaero was invited, and he did go to the police headquarters, and they said they interviewed him. After that very interview, he came out to state clearly that he was asked about his tenant, one Andrew Wen, who happens to be a UK citizen who is accused of terrorism. Now, from what, his arrest is still being held closely while he's arrested this second time, but it may be unconnected with this same foreigner who is said wants to overthrow Chief Bola Tinubu's government. I believe that this man, the UK man, who they call a fugitive and wanted in Nigeria, who we supposedly, I think about 70 years or 75 years old man, Andrew Wen, now has granted interviews in with Channels TV. Even his wife has granted interview to Channels TV, and of course, I believe the other media outlets that they have given interview. So the idea of the terrorism charges based on the protest, the End Bad Governance protest, do you think it will stand? Because I have notable Nigerians of repute who actually are of the opinion that the End Bad Governance protest is clearly not a terrorism activity, in quote. But let's just take a listen to what one of these senior advocate of Nigeria have to say by himself, clearly saying that Fagbemi, who is in quote the adjudicator of these cases, should clearly withdraw all charges against terrorism. So if we have people who are saying withdraw charges against terrorism, why is Ajaero now being held? When we know that NLC has the capacity to shut down the economy, shut down the electricity grid that happened last time and all that, like you just said. So let's take a listen to what this man have to say, then we'll come back and talk more on this.
Nigerians. My name is Timothy Abiodun Olatukunbo Chubiyele. I followed the demonstrations. Some turned riotous. Some of the demonstrators were arrested. I learned they are now being charged for treason. I have to be honest. I am yet to see the charge sheet. But I had a top functionary of the present government address the world that demonstrators tried to overthrow the government of the land, and that they should wait for a change, wait for the next elections. I had on a video a top lawyer, I think he's acting for the government. He said that demonstrators are being sponsored by foreign interests. I believe these demonstrators are being tried for treason just to deter other Nigerians from demonstrating. Demonstrators claimed that they were demonstrating against hunger in the land, which is real to many Nigerians. They claim that they were demonstrating against bad governance. When and how can demonstration against bad governance and hunger in the land turn to treason? I am pleading with the Honorable Attorney General, Chief Lateef Fagbemi. I have never met Chief Lateef Fagbemi in person. I've seen him at a distance in a party, but I've never met him in person. I was told that he was called to the Nigerian bar in 1985. In 1985, I was a junior lecturer at the Nigerian Law School, Victoria Island. I can't remember Chief Lateef Fagbemi as my student, but I can remember some of my students who were his mates. I remember Honorable Ogala, Babatunde Ogala, SAN. He was my student. I remember Chief Femi Fani-Kayode. He was my student. I taught Chief Femi Fani-Kayode Nigerian legal system. I taught lawyers who trained in foreign university. I remember Niyi Owolade, former Deputy Speaker, Osun State House of Assembly, former Commissioner for Health, Osun State, former Attorney General, Osun State. I remember Bola Ladna, the daughter of the law legend, Harry Ladna, who is now the managing director of one of the foremost banks in Nigeria. Ruth Banham. No, there's this other lady. Two of them studied abroad. They were newscasters on TV. That's almost 40 years ago. I've forgotten their names. So, Chief Lateef Fagbemi, I was called to the bar in 1980. I'm your senior at the bar. I am pleading with you as your senior. I am pleading with you as your teacher. Please, if it is true, I will be happy if you deny all that I've said. Withdraw these charges. Demonstration is not treason. Don't keep these children. Don't keep them in the cell. They'll probably be there for another 2, 3, 4, 5 months, even 1 year, because all you want to achieve, this government wants to achieve, is to deter demonstration. Then after some time, the charges will be withdrawn. Show mercy. You are a member of a honorable.
So we haven't heard from this very learned man who obviously is speaking from his heart, Lord K. So my question back to you is, we've had several notable learned colleagues who are at the bar currently, who are saying that this particular end bad governance protest or protest in general is not a quest to overthrow the government or deemed to be terrorism. So if everybody is saying this is not terrorism, why is the government hell-bent on ridiculing this NLC's Presido Joe Ajaero? Let's be clear, we are not spokesperson for Joe Ajaero or the NLC or even the labor unions, but truth needs to be told that Nigeria has just had enough of these very wasbos going around, and whether the federal government led by Chief Bola Tinubu is actually trying to put Nigeria on fire right now, we really don't know where all of this is headed. What are your thoughts based on what this man has said, and then the UK man's opinion on him not being a fugitive from Nigeria?
Thank you once again. The learned silk have spoken so well, and without mincing word, we already knew that whatever transpired in August had nothing to do with terrorism. It was just a trump-up charges against the protesters. It was a way of clamping down on protesters.
Are you there? I think we lost him for a minute. But while we wait for Mr. Bassi to join us,
let's clearly get some things straight. Some people, sending messages which I can see, asking various questions on why the NLC president should not even be something to be talked about right now because of the betrayal. But what I might say clearly is that in as much as the NLC, the union itself, and even their president Joe Ajaero, people may have felt betrayed by the acceptance of the 70,000 naira agreed as a minimum wage for the workers. But what options do they have? That is the question we should be asking ourselves. What options do they have? Some people, of course, yes, said they have the option of holding down on the 250,000 naira that they agreed on. But then they came out with that very observation that Chief Bola Tinubu had insisted on increasing the fuel, and they were looking out for the overall benefit of all Nigerians. So at this very point that they feel betrayed by the same administration, we believe that at this very point that the NLC, as they are having a closed-door meeting right now as we are speaking, they should come out with a resolution on how they are going to confront this very menace that is going on. Because if it continues going on unchecked, then it means that it will affect everybody. It means that nobody is even free in Nigeria. For freedom of expression will be long gone. Freedom of speech will be long gone. And it means that anybody who says anything further about the fuel increase, the fuel scarcity, or even protest will be prosecuted as a terrorist or even as a treason, as they all say. Let's once again check if Kini Willie is back with us. Kini Willie, are you back? I can see you on there.
On the network disruption. Yeah, what I was trying to say is that we are not even concerned about what happened to NLC, but we are only concerned about Nigerian because we know what this action can throw the country into. And it's not going to augur well. Nigerians are already suffering. They can't afford any further suffering to, escalate the already tense atmosphere. So it's important for us to say this so that government can reason with the voice of reasoning and do what is needful and what is right, and stop all this harassment and senseless arrest and hunting down of people that they feel are a threat or have a dissenting opinion contrary to what the government is doing. So I feel that government, as a matter of urgency, should release Joe Ajaero than drop all trumped-up charges against Joe Ajaero and those protesters that are languishing in various cells. They need to drop those charges, just like the senior advocate said, and let the people have their freedom. Nigerians have the right, as enshrined in the Constitution, to go about peaceful protests. And no government should think of clamping down on people's rights. So if government don't want Nigerians to protest, they should do the right thing, because Nigerians will protest as long as there is bad governance. So they should expect continuous protests. So if they don't want protest, let government do the right thing and ensure that Nigerians' livelihood is better off than what they are currently going through. That is my piece of advice at this particular point in time. Thank you.
Yeah, but again, some people might think that
this is personal, and they might be thinking about the NLC towing the line of dealing with it personal. Don't you think that this is really a time for Nigerians to come together and fight this menace of food shortage, inflation, the hardship in the country? Don't you think it's a time for the NLC to come out with their meeting in a decisive decision, not just for Joe Ajaero, but for Nigerians, and act for Nigerians? So, because we believe that if they are going to going for a protest that is meaningful for all Nigerians, and the Students' Union who had said they are going on a protest, if everybody should mobilize, it means that the Tinubu-led government may really listen to Nigerians. Because as you note, Tinubu did say something in China to Nigerian people in China, that he had to take a very hard decision for Nigerians to move forward, trying to sell to them the reason why fuel needs to be sold above 1,000 naira in Nigeria, telling them about the good roads that they are enjoying in China as a result of hardship. Do you think that the Chinese president, Mr. Xi, happens to take the route that Tinubu has taken to actually get to this? But before then, I want you to hear what Tinubu said to our people in China about why he actually made Nigerians to go into this. But our time is really short in this. We'll bring it some other time. But he did say in that very discussion, which is obviously everywhere, that he took that action of increasing the fuel price in Nigeria to make sure that Nigerians feel the heat, and then for Nigerians to actually, for Nigeria to be better. Do you think he has good intentions? And recall, before he left Nigeria, He did not, being the Minister of Petroleum, he never said anything about increasing the fuel price, but rather they created scarcity of fuel for people to get used to buying fuel expensive before they hit with the new price. They actually denied scarcity. They denied several things, but at the end of the day, that is what Nigerians saw. What is your take on that?
Well, this government have never worked for the interests of Nigerians. One thing is for you to say something, another thing is for you to do it, active. Their action, their speaking and their action had been at variance. So I have not seen any decision this government have taken that will work for the interests of Nigerians. All their actions have been more of personal interest and the interest of the cabal, the people that are in government. That is what we have been seeing. These governments oftentimes have asked Nigerians to be patient, but they have never shown that in the way they carry out with government spending, the way they carry out appropriation of funds. We have seen that this government has been going on extravagant spending, on jamboree, spending on frivolities, things that don't add value to our economy, rather than putting money where it is necessary to activate the productive sector of our economy, rather than putting money in areas like education, electricity. You see them going about funding their luxurious lifestyle. So I don't believe anything this government is saying, because if they are truly wants to transform Nigeria into a Chinese, we would have seen that in the trajectory of their decision and the action that they are taking. But for him to go to China and give us that sweet speech and eloquent speech, and then telling Nigerians that, oh, we want to turn Nigerians to Chinese, this is all about to deceive Nigeria once again. So I don't see this government in their intention. I don't see them, their intentions being fashioned towards the improvement of the life and the livelihood of Nigerians. That's what I am seeing, and I don't believe them one bit. Thank you.
Mr. Bassi, for sharing your thoughts.
Of course, we expect you to join us later this evening for us to have more discussion on the things trending right now and the things happening in Nigeria. So we expect to get feedback from the NLC, who are currently having a closed-door meeting whether to activate their organs, like they said, to get a shutdown on the Nigerian economy. But that is what we are seeing. NLC is on a closed-door meeting right now after the arrest of their this thing. Then, of course, people, you can go to the comment section. Tell us what you feel. Do you think that it's right time for NLC coming out from their closed-door meeting to call up for a strike action or to shut down the economy, to get Chief Bola Tinubu's administration to agree with them on the prevailing market price on the fuel scarcity? Or do we continue to complain and lament? Whatever are your thoughts, please go to the comment section, because we'll be coming back to have more details on what the NLC leaders has concluded. For some of you who are sending messages across, we don't have much time to respond, but I will tell you something. For somebody who had asked what would have P2B done differently at this time, yes, I'm looking at your message. But the answer I want to give you, what will P2B do differently? P2B would have done differently is one. I'll give you maybe 3, 4. P2B will not have given 1.9 billion naira to buy cars to all the National Assembly members. P2B will not buy 5 billion naira worth of yachts in his first year in office. Peter Obi will not give 20.1 billion naira to Amidst to renovate his residence, that is VP's residence. Peter Obi will not allow lawmakers to buy cars of 160 million naira each when Nigerians, millions, could bury it in this economy. Pete Obi will not appoint his son-in-law as the FHA and also approve 126 billion for him on his second day in the office. Pete Obi will not hijack oil blocks and contracts for his nephew, as you know that Wando is doing right now. Pete Obi will have invested in agriculture, primary health care, education, etc. I can go on and on and on. Pete Obi will not enter, not just in his first day on the inauguration day, to say that subsidy is gone without having plans, nor even the administration to put that in place. Pete Obi will not do that. So the question, I think I've answered. But I will once again come back, and of course you can send more questions to the comment section. For those of you who are out there, my question is, do you really believe that NLC has the capacity to do what? To call Chief Bola Tinubu's led administration to order? That will be discussing when we come back again. Until when we come back to have this discussion, bye for now.